next to me is Wizzrobe, the young god, the prodigal son, as I was calling you on the commentary, doing extremely well this tournament. The best you've ever done, I think, bar none.
Yeah.
Tell us first, just your first impressions. Like, after this tournament, what are your big takeaways?
After this tournament, well, first off, I tried very hard to prepare for this tournament in terms of like what I do to start the day and that kind of stuff. So I have some ideas. People always complain I'm playing bad, this, and that. I feel like I've like gotten better at being able to prepare and play well. So I'm gonna keep those ideas that I'm using. And I lost to Mango in losers, so he gave me some advice when fighting Falco. So I'm going to just try and get better versus Falco.
Yeah, I think we actually had a long conversation about like how to prepare for tournaments and even health stuff at Genesis, if you remember, at Genesis 3, the player lounge. So what exactly did you do, if you don't mind me asking, to really prepare?
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like a lot of people are realizing it more and more, but a lot of people don't take preparing as seriously as they should, in my opinion. Not everyone, but more people. But some of the newer things I did was I just tried I got this friend now who's helping me choose like the right foods to eat and stuff. I already had like an idea of what was healthy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he's been helping. Also, especially early in the morning, it's like the prime time that people usually play bad. So I think it's partially because the blood's not flowing well. So something I've been trying to do like this weekend is like go jogging for a little bit before I come here and take a shower and stuff.
That's good. It's important to do. Personal health, very important. U.S. government, I know you don't think that, we're a sport, we have athletic abilities, but clearly at least affects your mental state.
Yeah,
it does a lot to help you succeed. I'm not talking about the actual game here. This run that you had, you went through a lot of different matchups, a lot of different players. I guess the first set I want to talk about, because it was the craziest one to me, especially considering how well you did, it was actually the SFAT set.
Yeah.
Against Fox, it seemed like every time you hit him, your punish game was on point. But in the neutral, everything like that, can you give a short breakdown of how you like to approach the Fox matchup, like and what you try to do both in the neutral and of course after you get the hit?
Okay. Neutral's kind of hard to explain,
Yeah.
but it's kind of weird. Sometimes when I just get really warmed up, I just can really like play well in neutral. Like I noticed like a thing I had before when I would get nervous or like I was like more like pressured. I'd start being slower, so I've been trying to kind of keep that in mind and try and keep like moving fast, throwing out hitboxes fast, and just I especially like keep applying pressure. I've been thinking about that a lot this weekend, like keeping the pressure up when it's necessary in neutral and not like letting go.
Not letting go, not backing off.
That was my main
And
mindset.
actually, we referenced the HGC stats a lot because you actually went to that tournament, and we had a lot of advanced stats pulled from that tournament. And you talked about keeping yourself moving, keeping everything up. You actually had the highest actions per minute of any player, but actually a considerable margin.
Yeah.
You're like Silent Wolf for that tournament, who I was like at 280, 270. You were like 330. Which is ridiculous.
I heard I was fastest. I was pretty proud of that.
Yeah, by like a solid margin. 50 APM is a lot, guys. So there's that, and also the thing that you had was you had the highest edge guard percentage.
Really?
And actually like tracking it during the event, like there were stocks like the first stock you had against Mango, for example, in the Dreamland game.
Okay.
You stomped him over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was like, this guy, you're not dropping anything.
Yeah.
There was an extremely difficult edge guard that you managed to get. In terms of your mentality on edge guarding, like how do you approach it? Is it like an option covers thing? Do you try to read, or how do you go into it?
Well, I have certain like visual cues. Like obviously, if they're low and they're gonna up B, I'm gonna like stomp. And I feel like Fox, they get like up B, they get like tech and side B. That seems like the hardest one, but a lot of Foxes don't do that, and it seems kind of hard too. What else? I also like to use the weak knee, like as that's kind of like an option coverage. Like even if I don't think they're gonna run into it right away, just jump out with the weak knee and then up air. That's what Hacks used to do too.
Yeah. So low percent against the spacey, you get them by the edge, right? And you do down throw, and then there's the multiple down throw, forward throw, and there's a lot of like GIMP setups that are potential there.
Yeah.
You got a few GIMPs off, right? We saw later in Hax's career he started doing those as well, right?
The weak knee.
And then people stopped doing it for a very long time.
To be honest, I think the reason for that is because like I was still doing it. Maybe like I kind of like did it less, but I still did it. A lot of Falcons don't really know how to do it. Like they're starting to do it more and more. Like Gravy's getting good at it. F2J's getting good at it. But I think, to be honest, like most of the Falcons weren't really doing it when Hax quit Falcon.
Yeah.
And
so it kind of just died off, right?
Yeah, it just kind of died off. But I think
you've refound it. I mean, like you did a ton of your stocks were GIMPs, like just pure GIMPs.
Yeah.
You don't normally think of Falcon as like the gimping character.
Yeah, that's like
but he actually,
GIMP.
but he totally can do it, right? Like he absolutely can do it. The GIMPs you see with Falcon is when he like knees someone at 60 and they back. Yeah, like that's a GIMP. In a way.
I think it's kind of risky. You got to really know when you can do it, and like I always feel like there's some risk unless you have a really good spot. If he's in a really bad spot and you got him, but I'm just trying to get really good with it. So.
Okay, sure. Dude, that's so good. I'm sure you're on an absolute high of doing so well. But talking about your loss against Mango, you started the day in losers, but Mango was the one who ultimately took you out. It looked like when he went from Fox to Falco, it's a complete change up. He lasered a lot against you, actually.
I think the main thing with Mango is I did not expect him to go Falco. I knew his Falco was really good versus Falcon, but all the sets we've ever played and all the sets I've seen him play against like other Falcons really in NTSC, like he always uses Fox, so I really did not expect him to go Falco, so that kind of threw me off. I also did not really I fought a Falco earlier this weekend, like one tournament set. I haven't really practiced much versus Falco this weekend, so like the ideas I used versus Falco, they weren't really there right away. They were coming more during like the last two games, but overall that kind of threw me off, but also he picked up on like my habit. Yeah,
even in those like final Falco games, you were down for most of the game. There was 2 stocks in one, and both games, like something you took crazy stocks and then went last stock both games in the stadium games, right? I think you snuck under his double laser once, and actually Mango's been getting punished for double laser a lot recently.
I was kind of surprised I get that. I usually don't get that specific one where I get the grab. I usually don't get that one, but I got it.
It's usually when they do a high one, right? So what is Falcon against high double lasers? Do you just do a full hop thing? Like, what do you really have against double lasers when you're
okay, so you have the grab. Usually it's harder to get, but I got it once versus Mango. I think you can like shield the first and grab in between the second.
Yeah, I think Mars can do that.
It's definitely like vulnerable. Sometimes you can like full hop as he's coming up and kind of hit him, but I'm trying to think exactly why it doesn't work versus the top level Falcos as much, but that can be an option. Sometimes a down tilt. I usually try like full hop or sneak something through the lasers.
Sneak something through, yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I know Falcon, you definitely have to dash through and kind of get the shield one laser, and sometimes that's the best way.
Yeah.
And what often happens is if you go for a grab while they go for the second laser and you guys like do it the same frame, they do that weird. You've seen that before where the grab thing just like knocks them out?
I didn't think of that though.
Yeah,
but you're right.
It does do that occasionally. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But that was super cool. In terms of going forward, right? You obviously performed extremely well. One of the best Falcon performances we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Going forward, like what you're gonna go home. You're gonna look at these vids. You're gonna learn from it.